Well, Rob, on the verge of Bourgoin in the Amlin Cup, big opportunity here to progress further in Europe.
Yeah, we're going to be in an interesting scenario this weekend with Newcastle playing Montpellier on the Friday. We'll turn up at this game, we'll know exactly what we need from our final 2 games to progress. I've said to the guys, we're going to go for 100% to try and get to that quarter final. That obviously starts on Saturday, and we'll have to put in a good performance here and get some points out of the game if we want to have any hope of going to Montpellier with anything to play for.
When we played over in Bourgoin, it was a fair old atmosphere there, quite hostile and that, but it was probably one of the better performances of the season, one of the best.
Yeah, definitely one of the best performances, and I think it was probably that performance that's opened up the group to us. Disappointed to go to Newcastle and lose. To lose kind of so late in the game was obviously disappointing, but I think in hindsight, that losing bonus point is going to be very important, as was the losing bonus point here to Montpellier. So it's in our hands, it's in our hands really. If we play well, we'll get something out of the pool. If we don't play so well, then we'll probably finish runners up. But as I say, we're confident we can do well this weekend, and that'll give us something nice to go and play for in Montpellier. Going over there, everyone keeps telling me it's such a nice place to play. Well, I only really want to go over there if we've got a reason to go over there and play, and winning the game will give us something.
French sides obviously play a different style to the English game, and what are you expecting from Bourgoin this weekend?
It's difficult to tell. Selection-wise, most people will be aware. You don't really know how they take their away games. They're having a pretty tough time in the top 14 over there. So a lot's going to depend on their mindset when they come over here. They may well come with a bit of a nothing-to-lose attitude and chuck it around, which could make them very dangerous. Or they may come, and if we can get on top of them in the first 10 or 15 minutes, you never know, what may happen. Looks like it's going to be a pretty heavy pitch, so playing too much rugby it may be fairly difficult, and so that's going to come down to a couple of heavyweight packs, banging heads for a little while. And we played very well Monday night against Gloucester in the A-League game. Our scrum and our driving game was very strong, and it may be that that has to be the case again this weekend.
A break from the Premiership. It's been a tough start to 2011, like we expected, but you have seen positives, haven't you, from both the Leicester and the Gloucester games, and that's what you can take into this.
Definitely. I'm very pleased with our form at the minute. I know that maybe sounds strange because we've lost some games, but you've got to look at the last 3 Premiership fixtures we've had: Wasps away, Leicester at home, Gloucester away. They're pretty tough fixtures. The fixture list was always going to do that to us, and as long as we're coming through them and learning and not picking up too many injuries and we're not getting too knocked around, which we're not, then I'm pretty comfortable. There's plenty of games ahead that we can take points from, and I'm certain we will. And we've just got to remain focused, stay confident, not let defeats dent us in any way. If a defeat makes us play in the wrong manner, that would be a problem for me. If a defeat makes us come into training and work hard, makes us assess ourselves and things we can improve on, then they're not necessarily negatives. And as long as we do, take them in our stride, and like I say, don't start to get too panicky and nervy about where the next league point is going to come from, we'll be fine. I've said all along I don't want us to be involved in this to be a scrappy, horrible season for the players. So far they've responded, really, really well, through a massive energy and commitment into the season. We've got some good league points. We must continue that and keep getting those league points. That stops us getting involved in that scrap. That's the last thing we need, and that's what we've got to fight to avoid.
Looking at the whole season as a whole, though, and the team you picked this weekend, you've said it all along that you would pick on form and that, and the way the side you've set up this weekend is based pretty much around that philosophy.
Largely on form. We want to get something out of these 2 games, definitely, and I think to do that you've got to pick a strong side. There's some selections in there that the players have been told about where we feel maybe there was maybe a tired performance and someone needs to freshen up, or maybe just didn't play well enough in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And it's also given a few other players an opportunity who've either played well or trained well that we want to see a bit more of. So it's a very strong lineup for us. It's a lineup we expect to go out and win, and it's also a lineup that gives some players an opportunity to push their claim for when Premiership rugby starts again in a few weeks' time.
As you said, though, the A side in particular, they've won 2 on the spin now, and they're really pushing those guys, aren't they?
Yeah, and we're in a nice position at the minute. I think we've only got 1 long-term injury that needs to be tied up with Paul McKenzie's face. And so we've got quite a good squad to pick from at the minute. We picked up a couple of bumps and bruises in the Monday night game, but other than that, we're in good health. That makes things a lot easier, and it also means there's going to be a real competition for places. And this month is a key part of the season for us. The next 4 weeks, a lot of players in the squad are going to play rugby, and then we've got some very, very important league games coming up with a group that starts with I think we're home to Harlequins, away to Newcastle, home to Bath. Home to Saints. We've got some real good fixtures coming up there, and fixtures, let's be honest, that we've got to get some points from. So we're nicely set up at the minute. The next 2 months will be a real indicator of where we stand.